topic number one. So topic number one is Uber and Lyft announcing the IPO and what their impact on SF housing will be, or even Bay Area housing. So, Brian, why don't you start? I mean, what's your opinion on how it'll affect housing?
I mean, I definitely think it will have a great effect on housing in general in the Bay Area. I mean, that's one of the big unique things about the Bay Area is that you have all these various employment centers that have grown up. Again, coming from my perspective as somebody who's invested all over the country in places like Arkansas, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, Maine, what you're always looking for are employment centers. And the more employment centers you get, the better it is for real estate values, real estate investing. So now, case in point with the Bay Area, originally it was just San Francisco and Oakland, kinda, as the big employment centers. But now you've got San Francisco, Oakland, Emeryville, Silicon Valley, and all these other places, all of which that are have companies that are actually making a lot of money. So when you hear about things like an IPO for Uber and for Lyft, then you can only imagine that a lot of those original people that were on that company are going to be coming about a lot of money. And so I've personally got friends from Facebook who benefited exactly from that thing. They were like number 28 on Facebook or number 30 on Facebook. And a lot of those individuals will want to stay in the Bay Area. You're going to see competition for higher end homes again, and then hopefully some of those early adopters will have been able to buy investments as well. This always does create some type of a surge, and it's one of the main reasons why you'll see more of a bigger spike in California because of all the various employment centers as well as the different types of employment. It's not just segregated down to like one type of class. There's literally, again, that's another whole segment.
You know, my concern with this is, and what I've seen, I know several restaurant owners right there near Twitter, near a lot of the tech hubs in downtown San Francisco. And the one thing that they all say is as soon as a lot of these young techies get money in their pocket, they go out and spend it. So they're literally going to restaurants and buying $100 bottle of wines for lunch, and they're going to lunch every single day. They're literally spending their money. So my concern is we may not see as big of an effect as we think, because at the end of the day, if you look at the trend of renters versus home buyers, you're still seeing more and more people going into renting, especially for a lot of the execs or the investors that are going to be making a lot of money on these IPO. A lot of them, surprisingly, do rent their properties because it gives them the flexibility to move around, because many people in the tech industry are jumping from job to job and they need that flexibility. They can't be held down by a mortgage and by buying a property. So it's very interesting. And so I agree there's going to be some kind of influx of cash coming in for sure. I just don't know how much it's actually going to affect the housing market, simply because I know quite a few techies that like to really spend their money.
Yeah, and again, at the end of the day, it's really hard to empirically track that data, and a lot of it becomes anecdotal. But again, just from my personal experience, and especially just segueing off of what you mentioned, a lot of the clients that I've come about from that type of IPO, I've always encouraged them to do what I did in the very beginning, which was to buy a 4-unit building, live in one unit, rent out the other 3, especially if you're a young entrepreneur or you're coming out of college. Not only does it help you pay your mortgage, but in the event you want to move out because your job has relocated you, you could easily rent out that unit, and then suddenly you have an investment that's actually generating a lot of income. So again, from my perspective, it's these types of trends in the Bay Area have always helped my personal sales, and of course, this always segues into possibly houses.
Now with the IPO though, who are going to be the big investors that make a lot of the big money? There's a lot of corporate investors already in these companies that they're going to be cashing out, and they're not going to be looking to dump the money back into real estate.
Well, again, you got to remember that like a lot of in a lot of these IPOs, you're going to have references to people like number 28 or number 30 or number 40. And you go down this line all the way down to, say, the first 150 or 200 or more people. And then as you start getting further away from number 1, there's going to be people who have stock options that are going to come about, money closer to the tune of like 100 grand or 200 grand, not necessarily the millions of dollars. And so you're going to have a good chunk of people who are going to ask that question of like, what should I buy a house? or what should I buy? And again, when they encounter me, I'm always buy a 4-unit building or buy a triplex. You can always come in with very little down, like 3.5% down, and still create that flexibility, which again goes into, other things that you could do, whether you're going to stay in the Bay Area or move out, things of that nature.
Okay.
But again,
do we know what's the exact date they're going to go IPO?
I don't know yet. As a matter of fact, that's the big question on everybody's mind. I've talked to a couple of people where
is the timing of it.
Yeah, it's the timing, and we're looking at different investments. And one of the things that has been a big buzzword is, well, I want to make sure I have enough money left over or keep some money aside for this potential IPO.
Okay.
Before I go put it all into real estate, which I think is a smart, wise decision to do.
Okay.